I'm Robert Cavuto, and today on Metal Rules, I'm pleased to be speaking with Eric Peterson of Testament to discuss the release of their new album, Parabellum, that came out this past October. Eric, welcome. Thank you so much for your time.
Wow, thanks for having me.
Yeah, the one thing that you could always guarantee in life is that Testament will release a soul-crushing album, like just like Death and Taxes. You got to be prepared.
Yeah, it's been a while, but we've been touring a lot, and we figured it was time to get it done, and we've been busy back at it after COVID, and yeah, we're happy with it.
Yeah, how was your tour in Europe?
It went really well. It was with Obituary, Destruction, and Nervosa,
Yeah,
and we titled it Thrash of the Titans.
very cool.
Something that we used for when Chuck had cancer. We got a bunch of bands together and put it together, but we'll use it and we won't use it. It depends on the lineup.
Yep,
But yeah, it was really good. A lot of shows were sold out.
cool.
We had to
Congrats.
get that out. And yeah, it was great. We had a good time and it was perfect for the record too. I mean, the record came out that at the same
Okay.
time. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Was it weird being in Europe for the release and, you know, US band touring in Europe for the release on the same day that's being released in America? Was that a little odd or?
I mean, you can only be at one place at one time.
Yeah,
This that tour was booked. We do have some stuff coming up in the States, a tour that we're working on right now
great.
that we'll be announcing soon. And then, yeah, I mean, next year looks really good. So we'll see what happens.
Very
We have
cool.
a new record, so obviously we need to get out there and tour and push it. I
Yeah,
mean,
I was going to ask you that later in the interview. So no, that's great. The opening song, "For the Love of Pain," is one of the best opening tracks of an album. It
oh
really,
wow, thank you.
really sets the fire and sets expectations of what you could think the album is going to be about. Was that an obvious choice as the lead track versus the title track, Parabellum?
I, we were trying to think of another a segue to get to the beginning of Parabellum. Um, so musically, yeah, I mean, when For the Love of Pain was done, um, and oddly enough, that song was called Number Five Forever. And it's really weird because it was when we wrote it, it was 5 minutes. It was the fifth song that we wrote. And when we titled it, it was For the Love of Pain, 5 words. It was one of those weird coincidences, so we were like, okay, it's going to be the fifth song on the record, and it'd be a story to tell. But musically, yeah, it just comes out swinging, and it sounds like an
Okay.
opening track. I
Yeah,
think once the vocals were done, we were a little bit hesitant because I mean, even though we are very happy with, it's brutal,
it
we were
is.
like, do we need to come out? Should maybe Infanticide AI be first? But we're like, well, it's 3 minutes, we'll come out and slug some people and knock them out and then hit them with Infanticide. So
I think it was a good
um
choice.
I think skeptic people would be like when they hear it, like, oh, they're it's all death metal now or whatever. But I mean, if you listen to it, it's very cohesive the way it all goes. I mean,
Yeah,
after Infanticide, it gets, a little bit more thrash, and then Shadows People, more groove,
right.
more of a journey. And then Meant to Be is just like,
Awesome.
whoa,
Yeah,
you know.
I was going to ask you about that. That's meant to be tremendous song. I think it's personally my favorite on the album. I think it's a really showcases your and Alex's guitar playing and your dynamic together. I can't say enough great things. It's my favorite song on the album. Tell me a little about the history of that. Is that I envisioned based upon the title, maybe it's a little stalking scenario, but I don't know. Is that kind of what it's about?
Um, no, it's just about, I mean, to me, when I hear it, I mean, I'm sure Chuck's got some deeper meanings, but it's, Meant to Be was my title, and it was like, things that are meant to be.
Okay,
Um,
simple as
I
that.
think he took a little, maybe a darker approach on it.
Hmm.
Talking about, things that are real in a relationship. It could be with the earth, it could be with another person. Um, but it's like we were always meant to be,
Yeah,
this was meant to happen or whatever that line means. But
yeah.
yeah, so the music was written for the, I think we had a lot of the stuff for the last record in, like 2018, 19,
Mhm.
and we were trying to get it to be done on the record, and we didn't really show anybody the, all the music, but there was a lot of other riffs on there, and it was kind of just all over the place. So we decided, Alex and I, that we'd wait for the next record and get right and revisit it. So when we revisited it, um, it was obvious that there was too much other stuff going on.
Yeah.
So we cut it up a little bit and made it, again, the word cohesive. We made it more flowing. Towards the end, it gets riffy. It kind of takes you home. Doesn't look back.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, I mean, I think once um Chuck put his vocals down, I think we had a winner. We're like, this is, and usually our ballads, we take our time and we don't do them on every record, but those are important songs to us.
Yeah. I was going to
Um,
ask you about that. It's not really a ballad. It's it's a pretty
it's like a
intense
power.
song. It's heavy and it goes, and so yeah, I was wondering if you called it a ballad too.
I mean, I guess that's the cliche word for a
Yeah.
song like that,
Yeah.
clean tone and soft singing. But um, yeah, I mean, it's if that word wasn't around, it would be, the slow, moody song that builds up and, you know, so yeah.
Yeah, I think my mind to that song went to the stalking because the new album explores the humanity and the volatility in relationships with technology, chaos. So I just took it in a different direction, and that was my interpretation of what inspired the decision to anchor a record around those aspects.
You mean like just personal?
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, like, yeah, For the Love of Pain's about addiction
mhm.
and how it's bad, but you can for some reason you keep doing it, you'd rather have that high for 5 minutes and then the aftermath, it's about addiction basically,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
For the love of pain.
It does.
um yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things on here, I think more in our youth, we were more talking about things that have happened or predictions, and a lot of it's weird, a lot of it's come to pass, but I think as we're getting older, it's more about experiences.
Right.
And there's fantasy stuff as well, I think.
Yeah. How
Keep it
about
metal.
How about room 117? Was that fantasy, reality? What state, what city is that hotel room in? Because I don't want to be there.
Yeah, it's a real story.
Is it really?
Um,
Wow.
yeah, it's a story that Chuck got from his co-writer Del James, who's been working with us since The Ritual.
Mhm.
So that's who Chuck writes lyrics with. I don't know if they want me to talk about, but anyway, it's regarding James's mother, what she went through.
Oh, wow.
And Chuck was very touched by it, and it fit his pattern
Yeah.
perfectly because they're working on it, and he was reading it and he was just like, he goes, this is just, these words just work perfectly, with the
Yeah.
pattern, because that's a cool pattern. I mean, you can hum it.
So that's what I love about it. Yeah.
Yeah, so um yeah, I mean, I guess you can, room 117 makes it more personal, but I think if you can go beyond that, and it could be about, anybody's predicament in, with health or whatever.
No, that's very insightful. Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that. And we you talked earlier, another great song, Shadow People, groove oriented, aggression mixed with great melody.
Yeah.
It's a signature staple of the band, which is tremendous. So, what's the insights to that one with Shadow People?
So that one uh was written, that was like one of the first one riffs that I wrote. And it was like an anti-war song. And the middle part with the wah part, that was the beginning of the song.
Yeah.
And then I kind of put it away, and I had everything. I think I played that for Chris when he was on tour with Seven Spires. I went and seen him, and he's like, so, I was like, yeah. So we went in my car, and I was playing on my riffs that I had, written so far, and that one really stood out to him. He thought it was really cool. And yeah, so that was one of the first ones. Of course, I put it away because there was it was kind of just stuck in that no 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 no, that kind of like more drony,
Yeah,
anthemy kind of bit, and it needed something. It needed a picker upper. So it started with the drums, how it does, but then it went into that wah part.
yeah,
So I came up with some other riffs, and a couple months later. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of reminds me of something that we would do, on the first record or something, like Burnt Offerings or First Strike is Deadly, just where it kind of doesn't look back.
yeah.
I mean, it does come back to the beginning riff a little bit, but it's a lot different. But it just, once you think, you know, you got the gist of it, it goes into something totally different.
Yeah, I was gonna say retro 80s, but it's not really retro. It's brand new and it still has that vibe of,
Especially the middle part, it just says like riffarama, like
yeah, absolutely.
maybe, most people love it. I got a good friend that's like, you didn't need to put all those riffs. I love it though. I mean, you got to have one song like that that's just, um, just got a lot of nook and crannies and stuff. I mean, I'm a big fan of Merciful Fate, and I loved how they did stuff like that, like Satan's Fall,
Mhm.
where it goes into a completely different realm.
Yeah. How many songs did you guys have to write to get to these 10 and to have a very diverse album? So not everything sounds like the first song, not everything sounds like the second song, and so on.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of this whole record, every song's different. It's
Absolutely.
almost like, there's the ultra thrash come out swinging black metalish vibe in the beginning.
Mhm.
Then there's the more death metal thrash second one, and there's the more traditional nook and cranny testament and the ballad. And then you got something that's more like the gathering with High Noon.
I knew it was a great one too.
That reminds me a lot of the gathering. I don't know why, but it's got that, maybe it borrowed some riffs, ideas from that record. Um, what's after that? Witch Hunt is just slaying.
Yeah.
And then it gets more, and then it starts getting more towards traditional testament, I think.
Yeah.
Uh, Nature of the Beast reminds me of something like Iron Maiden or
I
Saxon
thought
would
so too.
do.
I thought so too.
It's
Yeah.
got that kind of, new wave of British heavy metal sound. I think the Key of A's got that sound,
Yeah. And I
and
think
that's,
Room 117 is after that, right? Or what?
yeah, and that's got that kind of accept,
Yep.
old school, still Testament, but I'm naming those names because those are bands that were, I was influenced, or genres, and from the
Yeah.
DNA of what I do.
So how many songs did you have to write to get that variety and diversity?
There was one that didn't make it on the record,
Oh, wow.
and then there was a couple ones that weren't done yet. But these were the top 10,
Okay.
and yeah, they're strong. I mean, we just I don't think we really write anything that's throwaway.
Okay.
Um, yeah, we stuck with 10. I mean, there was 11, but I don't think we ran out of time because we had so much
Yeah.
stuff booked, touring wise. This record was written in between tours. It was recorded in between tours.
Oh, wow.
You know, a lot of times I think what we do is we have a writing session, and there's a pretty big break between we tour, before we tour, especially recording. I mean, we usually record, mix, and then we plan a tour around the record. But we were just, I kept going, what? It was,
Yeah.
I felt like, you know, I don't know if you've ever seen that Led Zeppelin movie, but the bass player is like, his wife saw, oh, this came in the mail for you. And he's like, tour dates. And he's all, wait, this starts tomorrow, tomorrow. So it's always like that. We'd like, yeah, something's come up. We're like, wait a minute, this is like, this is next month.
Too funny. Too funny. Is there a song? We talked a lot of songs. Is there a favorite that you have, or which one do you really think showcases where you are now as a guitar player?
Um, Well, there's a lot of stuff that I've like that was really hard for me to play that I wrote. One
That's
one of
honest.
them,
I like the honesty.
yeah, I mean, Parabellum, there's a arpeggio part in the middle, and that's my part.
Mhm.
Um, that was really so the problem was that when we were in the studio, I we usually get like a grid and then I play the guitar, you know, not perfectly, but I get through it enough to where, the drum can play along to it rather than me in the room. If I mess up, they just got to start over. That way there's
Right.
a structure, a guide for him to follow. Um, when we got in there and we were playing it, I'm playing to a click and I'm playing it the best I can. But once the drums started, we were both like, God, it needs to be faster. So, you can speed stuff up,
Yeah.
once you have a grid. So we sped it up. Not the drums. I mean, the drummer obviously played it at that speed. And once we got to a speed, we're like, yeah, just a little more. And when it came time for me to do my tracks, I was like, oh yeah. And then, obviously I'm hearing my tracks that I did for him and they sped it up and it doesn't change the pitch. So it sounds cool to me. But when I noticed when I started playing it, I was just like, oh shit. I just shot myself in the foot. I
Yeah.
I can't even play that part. I had to like, I mean, obviously I got through it. I had to punch in a lot. And then once I punched in a lot, I was pretty warmed up. So I just went ahead and did it again
Right. Right.
and got through it. But yeah, if we ever do that song, that's got to be up in the set, you
Mhm.
know. I mean,
Definitely.
it's a title track, so we'll see what happens.
I'm I'm
Um,
hoping, I'm hoping when you guys come to New Jersey, I'm in New Jersey, or you tour the U.S. Meant to be. That I'm hoping that's in the set list. That should be a state.
I'm pretty sure it will be. And for the longest time, we have a lot of cool ballads and we've played them in our earlier days. But I think ever since um like 99 almost till up till now we stopped doing ballads. I don't know why, but we went out and did this Practice What You Preach in its entirety tour. And Chuck was like, yeah, we should probably do, like all the ballads. And we were just like, yeah, let's do that. And it was a great idea. And but we went from no ballads to all of them. So I mean, again, ballads, the word ballads,
Yeah, yeah,
the
I know. I
slower
get it.
songs.
Yeah, slower song.
I think metal fans are like ballad.
Right, right. That's what you think in a love song.
Yeah, I mean, but
Slow dance
our
song.
version of ballads, our fans
Yeah,
know what our slow songs, the Legacy,
yeah,
Return to Serenity, which we get pits for Return to Serenity, which is crazy.
yeah.
Well, the last tour we did, we were out, well, not the last tour, but when we brought it back was in Europe in late 24, and we did a tour with Anthrax and Creator, and we put that in the set. And in the front row, you just see girls crying, and then there's a pit behind them. We were just like,
Watch
wow,
it. Yeah.
it's a whole New Testament.
Well, I want to be respectful to your time. My last question to you is we talked about some of your influences. We talked about the musical styles. Are you still motivated by the same things of writing songs when you started as you are now? It seems to be.
Yeah, definitely. I still listen to, it's funny because there's a lot of records that when I was younger, I didn't really trip on them like I do now. Tripping means like I didn't really listen to it.
Yeah.
Because I was just like very biased. I was like, I mean, even when I first heard the first Iron Maiden record, I was listening to Stay in Class, Hellbent for Leather, Unleashed in the East, stuff like that. And when I first heard Iron Maiden, there was like some punk stuff, and I was like, no, this isn't metal enough. And
Mhm.
but it grew on me. And then
Yeah.
by the time Killers came out, I mean, that's probably one of my favorite records of all time.
Yeah.
Killers is just like in my DNA. I love that record.
Great
And
album.
all the rest of them are amazing too, but that one just hit home for me. But yeah, all the older late 70s, early 80s albums, especially all the live ones. Everybody knows I'm a fan of all that stuff. Um, you know, Lights Out, or not Lights Out, Strangers in the Night, UFO, Unleashed in the East, Tokyo Tapes, all those records, Kiss
Great.
Alive, you know,
Yep. Great stuff.
those
Yeah,
records, and
we
all
grew up
those bands. Oh, sorry.
we grew up on those same stuff. Exactly. So
Yeah.
all those same albums growing up in the 80s.
And the thing is all those bands, their records that they're playing live, the records, you know, the original ones, they were very sterile, even though they sound great.
Yeah.
They just, I don't know what they did. Maybe they went and re-recorded it or something. I've heard rumors of stuff like that, but they just brought it to life, I think.
Yeah.
Because when you hear the record versions, I guess I just ended up as a kid buying the live record first, and then when I'd go, you know, get the first Kiss record,
Yeah.
I was just like,
I couldn't listen to it.
it was just too
Sterile.
slow and sterile.
Yep. I
You
agree.
know, like Deuce, you know, you just live is all
Yep. I'm probably one of the biggest Kiss fans ever, and I don't think I've ever listened to the first album because why would I when I have a live one? You know, so
now I appreciate it. There's songs on there that I don't didn't know. I mean, that's another thing I was talking about earlier, is I've rediscovered the songs that I would just go, no,
yeah,
you know, I only want to hear Shock Me. I don't want to hear Almost Human. But now when I hear Almost Human, I'm like, oh
yeah.
wow,
How
what a
about
great
Kissing
riff.
Time? How about Kissing Time? You probably don't want to hear that one. I don't think anybody wants to hear Kissing Time.
Yeah. You know, I mean, even like Judas Priest, Turbo Lover. Remember when remember. Sorry. They had approached us to tour with them,
Oh
and
wow.
we were working on Souls of Black, and um we're huge Judas Priest fans. When they came to us, we are like, you know, I love Point of Entry, Turbo Lever, I don't know, the album cover, and
Mhm.
maybe that song. Even though now I love that song, at the time, you gotta
Yeah.
remember we were younger. I wanted heavy, heavy, heavy.
Yeah.
And we were like, I think we passed on it.
Wow.
And we were like, nah. But you know, we were interested, but we were like, you know, what are they doing? Like, you know, where are they at now? And um, they came back and said, well, you know, check out our new song. They sent us Painkiller.
Yeah.
And I think right when Halford started singing on the arpeggios and all that stuff, we were just like, yes, please.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we felt stupid for, yeah.
Turbo was a
Oh,
departure with that synthesizer guitar. You know.
yeah, it just had a different sound. I mean, I like it now. When I hear it on
Yeah.
the radio, I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah.
You know, I'm more open-minded now, but I think back then we were just, you know, I mean, at least for me, I probably missed out on a lot of stuff because I only wanted to hear a certain,
Yeah.
you know, I just wanted all the heavy stuff.
That's great. Well, listen, I really appreciate your time today. Thank you so much. It was a real pleasure and really insightful. Thank you for sharing all those insights into all those songs. I really appreciate it.
Right
And
on, man.
and I'll hopefully
I'm
see you guys when you come and schedule a tour in the United States, in New Jersey, New York. All right.
Yeah, we will definitely be I think we're playing in New Jersey, but I'll let you know when that happens.
All right. Thank you so
Cool,
much.
man. All
Have a
right, take
great
care.
day. Bye bye.
Take care. Bye.